Hey everybody, it's Monday, October 20th, 2025. Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Show, where we apparently have to lie to kick it. It's me, your man, MG Marcas Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio and LaQuan Jones. Happy Monday, fellas.
Hey.
Florio, you had a nice reprieve. You actually were out in the out in the world this weekend, weren't you? How was your weekend?
It was awesome, man. Shout out to Ray and Jess, my best friend. I got to fly out. I flew out Thursday night, right after Thursday Night Football, and I was back in LA before 10 a.m. kickoff Sunday morning. Like, it was a quick trip. I watched the Rams in London on my flight. So, like, I didn't miss football, but I was very tired yesterday. But it was worth it, definitely.
I get it. See, now I didn't know that you got back so early. I mean, you were like interacting in the text chat, and I thought it was just because you like paid for the Wi-Fi on the flight or something like that.
So the options of flying home were either 6 a.m. Sunday morning or 11 p.m. Sunday night, and I was like, no, we're doing 6 a.m. So I actually didn't go to sleep. I was at the wedding the whole time. The wedding after party ended at 1. And then it was me, Nicolette, and the bride and groom. We were the last ones to go to bed. I think we went to bed at like 2:30. And I was like, yeah, I'm just showering and we're driving to the airport now. Like, I'm not going to bed for an hour. It's not worth it.
Yeah, because either you lay there for an hour and get no sleep, or you oversleep and then it's a complete disaster. Like those are the only two options.
And I was right. You know, you get that high of the energy. I was like, I have to ride this out. I will crash at the airport.
I completely understand. I think we've all been there at some point. I had another topic that I wanted to start the show with. I had something in mind. I was gonna tie things back to Shohei Ohtani and tie it into Travis Hunter. I was gonna do a whole thing until we started talking, just random chit chat before the show, and we were talking about running full speed. And I joked that, LaQuan said he could run a 4.6 40, to which you told us how fast do you think you can run the 40, LaQuan?
Like 4.5. Like I'm up there almost 4.6. Like, bro, we could time it. We could do it. Line it up.
What was the other thing you said immediately after that?
I haven't ran full speed in years. Look, I haven't ran full speed since I played like pickup soccer for Mercer County. If you know, you know, man. And look, I honestly think I was like 26, 27 last time I ran like absolute full speed with determined purpose. But like, bro, like the knees ain't working how it was before, bro. And I can admit that I'm up there in age now where my body ain't working like how it was in the mid-20s. I ain't washed.
So just... what do you think you were running in the mid-20s then? If you think now without running and with broken down knees, you're going to run a 4.5.
4.5-ish highest, like 4.6. I think I could still do it if you guys are like down to like line it up. Like I will be motivated.
We absolutely will. But let's call folks at SoFi and see if they'll let us on the field to do it even. Like we can, look, content, man.
Yes.
But no, so like at your prime then, if you can run 4.5 now,
I would say I was like clean like 4.5, like probably touching almost 4.49. Like
so
that's
you're
how
telling me
fast
in
I was
all the
going
years since, you've only lost like not even like a hundredth of a second, like 500ths of a second.
Kind of. I'm motivated now to prove wrong. Like that's just like how I kind of thrive off the craft. Like this is how you sharpen the sword. This is everything that I want to prove to you guys that I could run a 4.5, 4.6.
You are the dude. I bring this story up a lot, Marcus, where I was playing basketball one time with random dudes, and the kid was like, I'm the lockdown defender. And his friend was like, who's someone you think you could lock up? And he, with a straight face, said Kyrie Irving. That's the energy you're bringing right now, LaQuan.
No, Kyrie with the handles, big jersey, never happening. No, I can't lock down Kyrie.
I mean, like I'm looking at this year's combine, right? And so these are the guys. Like, let's see, Woody Marks was a 4.54.
Pretty fast.
Caleb Johnson was a 4.57.
I can dust him. There you go. Stop right there. I could dust him. 4.7, I could dust. I could dust Caleb Johnson. 4.57?
I mean, based on what you've been saying, you guys are neck and neck. That's a photo finish. You know, if we are taking you at your word, 4.57 is a photo finish with you and Caleb Johnson.
Bro, let's line it up.
Nick Nash was a 4.57. I'm like looking here. Like who's okay. Your boy Konate Mumfield right? Caught his first NFL touchdown. Shout out to him. Caught his first NFL touchdown on Sunday. He was a 4.59 at the combine. So you're telling me that you are going to, like, that Sean McVay should make you the wide receiver 3. Is that what you're telling me right now?
I should be kicker number 2. I should be wide receiver 6, okay? Because I'm not going to disrespect Xavier Smith, Jordan Winnington, everybody else on the depth chart. I could be the wide receiver 6 or 7. Put me out there on punt return.
And is this before or after you fight a kangaroo?
All right. First of all, that's a whole different subject. Okay. Now we're going so left field now. Now the kangaroo thing.
But they're both the same premises. Like,
it's the same energy, man. It's the same energy, dude.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Stop.
We need a whole segment called LaQuan's Tales of Awesomeness. That's what we need on this show.
Oh, I actually like that.
LaQuan is always like, when's the last time you ran as fast as you can? And I'm like, I don't know, a week ago. And he's like, it's been years for me. But the speed, like, you think that same speed is just locked away and hasn't gone anywhere?
Bro, confidence builds, man. It's definitely one of those things I think I could prove that I can still run pretty damn fast.
Speed is not like a jar of peanut butter. You don't just pick it up off the shelf and just think it's still good. It doesn't work that way.
I'm going to give myself a week to stretch, get conditioned, and we're going to seriously do this, guys.
A week.
Give me a week. Give me a week. Give me a week.
The guys at the combine train.
Give me 10 days.
Guys at the combine train for months.
10 days.
If Pros versus Joes was still around, you would be
such a good show
candidate for that show
on Spike TV.
Because you would walk up to like Brian Scalabrine and be like, "Yeah, I could dunk on you," and like it would be great.
I mean,
Celtics legend, by the way.
I feel like there was one with like Michael Irvin, like somebody challenged Michael Irvin or something like that, or somebody challenged like I can't remember what running back it was, but it just got run over. We need this back. We will legitimately have to figure out.
We
something
should do an NFL Network one and have like former players.
NFL Network combine.
Yeah. So
I challenged Chris Johnson when we interviewed him, Florio. Like I was like,
that's
I'm down.
Wild.
Yeah, I know.
That's wild. He's one of the fastest humans of all time.
This guy raced a cheetah.
Yeah, dude.
LaQuan's like, you think a cheetah was fast? Get ready.
We gotta make this happen for sure. We're gonna work on this. We gotta start emailing, texting, whoever we gotta do to make this happen for sure.
Lights, camera, action, baby. Let's go.
Let's do this. We got a lot to talk about. We are at the midway point of the fantasy regular season. I know there's still 2 more games on Monday night, but essentially halfway point of the fantasy regular season. Figure this is a good time to do a redraft, right? Like if we were going to redo the first round of the draft, knowing now what we do know, how would things go? Obviously, there'd be some guys that were in the first round that wouldn't make it in this time. There's some guys that probably were second, third round picks that probably slide up. So we're going to do that a little bit. Also talk some quarterback stuff and a little bit of rage drops. Who are we just absolutely fed up with? And we're like, it's done. I can't do it anymore. We'll have that and some waiver wires talk as well. But we do have some fantasy headlines, some interesting things, especially quarterback related. In fact, this is going to be kind of a quarterback heavy show. It was not intended to be that way. It just sort of worked out because that was kind of the big news of the weekend. But Jayden Daniels suffered a hamstring injury on Sunday. Marcus Mariota came in, took over against the Cowboys. The Commanders getting thumped pretty good at that point. Also, they were playing without Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel, which definitely doesn't help. Daniels expected to get an MRI on the hamstring to see how severe it is. But, LaQuan, let's say he can't go, and it's Marcus Mariota that ends up getting the start for the Commanders. Can he sustain this offense? I mean, look, if McLaurin and Deebo come back, are you comfortable starting either or both of those guys?
Terry, maybe not so. We haven't seen much of him this season, you know. I mean, he only got 3 games in, and his best game was like 13 fantasy points. So not really like turned on from him putting him so rushly back into starting lineups. But Deebo, yeah, because we've seen Marcus Mariota be a serviceable quarterback, and like he fits so well for the Commanders if Jayden Daniels ends up getting hurt. So he's still able to be the mobile quarterback. He's still able to hit the checkdowns, even some of the deep balls he was able to hit. So I think guys like Luke McCaffrey, they have to step up a little bit more, and then obviously Chris Moore popping up on the scene. Like, he's probably going to be a hot waiver wire ad moving forward if Debo ends up missing more time. So I think Mariota goes into that category of how we look at the Joe Flaccos, the Andy Daltons that we'll probably get to today. Like, these are the guys that are just serviceable that can really dish it out to your wide receiver 1 or 2. But who takes the biggest hit is Zach Ertz, because Mariota hasn't connected very well with Zach Ertz in terms of fantasy, of like where you have Jayden Daniels, where it's an automatic, you already know they're in the red zone, they're in striking distance. Ertz is likely going to get some of those targets.
Wild thing about Zach Ertz. I mean, obviously he's had a pretty good season so far, especially in fantasy. 3 of the top 8 fantasy tight ends right now come from the NFC East. Jake Ferguson at 1, Dallas Goedert at 4, and Zach Ertz right now sitting at 8. I don't have any analysis other than it's just wild. It's just
I thought it was a punch. I was waiting for the punch, man.
No, it's just a thing I noticed. I'm like, it's wild. We didn't predict this, right? I mean, sure, we thought Ferguson could have a decent season. I didn't think he'd be tight end 1 right now. Not sure where the hell Dallas Goedert has come from. Same with Zach Ertz. It's just happened. So yeah, that's that. In New York, the Jets benched Justin Fields after just not being great in the first half in Florida. That's now 2 games in a row for Justin Fields that have been an absolute struggle. Previous week, we were like, well, it was the Broncos. It was a tough matchup. We always sort of thought that was in the realm of outcomes. This week was supposed to be better than last week, and it really wasn't. He had 1 more passing yard than he did against Denver. He had 9 less rushing yards. Granted, this was in like a half versus against the Broncos being a full game. To this point, Aaron Glenn has not committed to a quarterback for next week. What is your concern level with Justin Fields at this point?
It's got to be pretty high because they haven't committed to him again. I will say, look, he's not playing great football by any means right now. He's holding on to the ball too long. He's taking too long to go through his reads and stuff. But at the same point in time, the Jets are doing everything they can to make life as difficult as possible. Like, they give up pressure at the high. Coming into this week, it was 50% of the time the Jets quarterbacks have been under pressure. Every other team is 40% or less. That is just simply unsustainable to have any success in this league. And I tweeted it yesterday. Taylor came in, and until late in that game, he was also struggling. And he threw a pick. He was getting under pressure constantly. So I don't think the offense suddenly gets a lot better. Maybe it gets a little bit more efficient passing wise, but then you lose that rushing element that Justin Fields brings, because Taylor's still mobile, but he's not a runner like Fields. But I'll say this, look, whichever one of those 2 is the starter, and I'm going to guess that it's going to be Fields again. But I think they're in play next week because they get the Bengals. That is a team that, if you watched last Thursday night in the Icy Hot Bowl, as Cam Ward was calling it, they were able to get literally no pressure on Aaron Rodgers without Hendrickson out there. So I think whichever Jets quarterback starts, not only are they in play next week, but I would say they are the top streaming option. I'm using them over Mariota, Dalton, Rodgers, Penix, any of those guys that you might be considering with 6 teams on bye.
Yeah, so it's funny. I always start putting together my list of sleepers potentials for the next week. I do it on Sunday, and one of the things I always do is, especially when it comes to picking sleeper defenses, I'm like, all right, well, who's playing the Bengals, who's playing the Titans, whatever. And I was like, well, who's playing the Jets, right? Because they're another one that they give a lot of sacks, a lot of turnovers. I'm like, well, who's playing the Jets? And I looked, I was like, oh, the Bengals. I can't in my right mind write that the Bengals are a sleeper defense. Yeah. Can I? I can't do that. And it's now same with the Jets. It's kind of a mess. So LaQuan, I was thinking about this too, and you can tell me if I'm just being extra right now.
You're being extra.
I didn't mean just yet. Listen to what I have to say first. I had this feeling this morning that if the Jets decide to bench Justin Fields, that at that point, he is immediately droppable. And I say it because, one, if they're going to go to Tyrod Taylor, right? They're not immediately going back to Fields. I don't think this is going to be like the Colts playing roulette with, Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco last year, right? Like, I think if they make the move, it's going to be for a while at least, barring an injury. And I'm looking at the schedule. Yeah, they got the Bengals this week, but then they're on bye. Then they've got Cleveland. Then they go to New England. They're at Baltimore, which, I don't know if the Ravens defense will have improved by then. They've got Atlanta, who can be pretty tough on quarterbacks. That gets you through week 13, at which point your fantasy regular season is essentially over. Maybe I'm just being a prisoner of the moment, LQ, but it just feels like if it ends up being Tyrod Taylor's job, that you can immediately just say goodbye to Justin Fields.
Chalk it up. It's over. It's a dub. I wouldn't even try to prolong it after the bye. Just get it done with now, because I do think if you hold on too long to Justin Fields, those options on the wire to even pivot, or even if you have a QB2, they're probably not as great as Justin Fields, as the upside that you drafted him from. So you're probably in a quarterback situation right now where it's Justin Fields isn't going to help you beyond this week. So if he is truly benched, it's immediately just reactionary. I need another quarterback right now.
Yeah. I also think that if he gets benched, that pretty much seals the deal of him as a starting quarterback in the NFL. That maybe he hangs around the league as a backup.
Which is unfair, because it's the Jets, and it's the O-line and the lack of weapons outside of Garrett Wilson. Mason Taylor's fine, but it's he doesn't have this collective group here for when he can actually move forward as a starting quarterback. He's been in terrible situations. I thought Pittsburgh was the best situation for him to grow. He should have got that contract with them, in my personal opinion. But going to the Jets, it's the God Jets. What do you expect? It is what it is.
It's hard because the Chicago years were frustrating. Then in Pittsburgh, he started well, and they immediately replaced him with Russell Wilson. And then, as you mentioned, he's with the Jets now. So I know it hasn't been a great start, but also he hasn't done a ton.
But let's put out positive energy. I know I'm the Fields guy here, but if he starts this week, he could easily go off, and then I think he's the starter for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, so we'll see. Obviously, Aaron Glenn says at this point he has not made a decision. We will know as we get further on into the week.
It felt very Glenn was asked all week about it, and it felt kind of okay, here, I'm giving you what you asked for, kind of benching.
Leave me alone. This is your answer. So,
it didn't look better with Tyrod. So.
Did not look better with Tyrod. Bryce Young helped the Panthers to a win over the Jets this past week, but he also left the game with an ankle injury. Right now, they're saying it's a high ankle sprain. Looks very doubtful for him to play this week against the Buffalo Bills. High ankle sprains usually bad news. A lot of times it does mean a couple of weeks on the shelf at a minimum. So, LaQuan, if Bryce Young can't go against the Bills, and maybe beyond that, can you trust Tedero McMillan with Andy Dalton? Can Andy Dalton do for Tedero McMillan what Joe Flacco has done for, say, T. Higgins?
Yeah, I think so. Because two things that are happening now. You get a veteran that makes quicker decisions. He's not going to hold on to the ball as long as Bryce Young does, trying to process where these guys are going to be. At least Andy Dalton can walk up to the line and be like, oh, I know what coverage this is. I know where that guy's going to be. I know who's going to be open. That doesn't really sit with Bryce Young yet, because he's still in those developing stages. So if you even look at their yards per, attempt, it looks like 6.1 is where Young is at, and then Dalton 6.4 if you go back to 2023. So being able to get the yardage from Tedero McMillan that we're honestly looking for, the same thing that Joe Flacco did for T. Higgins, where I said he can have those 4 to 5 games with 80 to 100 catches and a touchdown. That's how I think Tedero McMillan gets this boost now with Dalton, where we might see more yardage. We might see more scoring opportunities for this offense. So I'm actually excited for it.
All right. I feel like, again, you get a veteran quarterback in there. That guy sort of knows where the playmakers are and who they are and how to get them the football. So maybe that is a positive for a guy like McMillan, who, very quietly is having a nice rookie season. Maybe not getting the headlines of, say, an Emeka Ibuka, but, he's playing really well, I think, under the circumstances. Did anybody get Bo Nix yesterday? Either of you?
I had Bo Nix. I threw my phone away in one league. I was like, yep, I lost. It's over. And then I'm looking at the fourth quarter. I'm like, hold up now. My boy cooking. I best believe I'm a big believer. He going to turn up for me. He did. I love that.
nearly 40 points yesterday. A couple of rushing touchdowns in that big fourth quarter comeback. The Broncos rally with a 33-point fourth quarter is really an insane number.
Yeah.
I mean,
only the Giants.
The Broncos were still down 18 with what, like 6.5 minutes to go, something like that. It ends up coming back to win. Should have known, right, that on the day they honored Demaryius Thomas in the Ring of Honor, that the Broncos win on an improbable comeback. Because like the whole time I was thinking, I'm like, it's like Demaryius Thomas Day, right? Like the first thing I thought of was him catching a pass from Tim Tebow and going the distance in a playoff game against the Steelers. Right? I mean, it's like, so of course the Broncos do something ridiculous and win on the day they're celebrating Demaryius Thomas. It absolutely made sense. But we'll get to that. I'll get to that a little bit later in the show because we're going to talk some quarterbacks because I also want to talk about the Jackson Dart side of things too. But just a phenomenal game to watch. It was a lot of fun. Probably a lot more fun if you weren't a Giants fan. But for those of us who didn't have a specific rooting interest in the game, it was really, really entertaining to watch down the stretch in that fourth quarter. So this felt like a good point in the season to go back and maybe reevaluate some things, right? I mean, we've played almost 7 full weeks of the NFL season. We've gotten a feel for how offenses are working, which players are playing well, who maybe has let us down fantasy-wise. So it seemed like a good time to, go back and do the draft again. Do the first round, 12 teams. We'll go in order. It'll be LaQuan, then Florio, then me. We'll do the draft in the first round. Obviously, sort of draft like you got 4 different teams as opposed to like, I want this guy, then this guy. So LaQuan gave you the honor of being the number 1 overall pick in our redraft. Who are you taking there?
I think we talked about it all summer. It could be this, it could be that, but Bijan, like I'm not going anywhere else outside the 101. It has to be Bijan Robinson because honestly, this is a season that we kind of were saying that if they get him activated, they get him the ball in open space and get him involved in everything else that they talked about this summer from the beat writer. It's just like he's going to explode for this type of season. So I think no brainer here that he should be the 101.
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue against that the way he's played so far. No problems there at all. Florio, who are you taking at number 2?
I would have took this guy number 1, to be honest. Give me Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor should be the MVP in the NFL right now.
Ooh.
I know it's going to be either Baker or Mahomes, it's looking like, but Jonathan Taylor is that Colts offense. Like Daniel Jones is playing really well, but everything starts because of Jonathan Taylor and how fearful like defenses are of him gashing them, and then he just goes out there and gashes them. And if you have him in fantasy, he's probably single-handedly won you numerous weeks because he has 4 games with 29.5 or more fantasy points. Like that is off the charts efficient, and he has no games with less than 12. So floor is super safe, the ceiling is super high. I think he right now is again should be a top 3 MVP candidate.
All right. Okay, so we got Bijan number 1, Jonathan Taylor number 2. I'm going to keep the running back train going.
Oh, the 40-liner.
Seriously, like he's...
Oh, I'm sorry. You heard me. I stepped back from the mic. You weren't supposed to hear me.
You are sitting in front of a microphone. It is an ampliphonic sonic device. I'm making up words now. But Christian McCaffrey, I mean... we're talking about
the RB1 on the year right now.
Like the number 1 scorer in all of fantasy football right now is Christian McCaffrey. And like, yeah, we came into the season like, well, what if he gets hurt? Yeah, man, that applies to every single player in the NFL. Weirdly, he's been the 149er that hasn't gotten hurt this year. He has done everything. It is wild. It's absolutely wild.
Wild.
He's running the football effectively. They've actually started to get the running game going, which, by the way, we were all excited about George Kittle coming back. George Kittle did not catch a pass on Sunday night and still might have been the most valuable player on the field for the 49ers because that run game looked so much better with him there. But on top of it, McCaffrey, a ton of receiving yards as well. He is 6th in the NFL in receiving yards. 6th overall, crazy. Like not among running backs, like amongst everybody. Has done everything for this team, has stayed healthy, looks like the centerpiece of it. Yeah, maybe injury comes later, but so far it hasn't. So getting him at 3, I'll gladly take it.
Give him a little bit of a breather. Like, I know as of 2 weeks ago, he had the most touches as someone his age through that many games. And all you guys have done is given him like 28 touches per game since then. So like,
because who else is there to give the ball to?
No, I get that. But like, it just
you guys
worries
traded
me.
for Brian Robinson. That's who. Like, what was the point of that?
And they use Brian Robinson. He gets some touches every once in a while. He ran pretty well against the Falcons on Sunday night. But they also realized that, especially with Kittle hurt, with Juwan Jennings banged up, with Ricky Pearsall still hurt, their best chance to win is putting the ball in number 23's hands as many times as possible. I mean, it's just what it is. All right, so we got 3. LaQuan, back to you. Do we finally get a wide receiver off the board?
Yes, Puka Nacua. Yes, the 101 that I was screaming about early in, the seasons before the draft. And then obviously my opinion changed that he can't be the 101 with Adams there. But it seems to be that he's proven everybody wrong. He is literally the best wide receiver in the league right now. Even though he's banged up right now, I think he's going to come back, keep momentum, and then he ends up being the wide receiver 1 overall. Yeah.
I mean, obviously it made sense for him to sit out this week, going to London. You got the bye next week, just on the side of caution, but he's been incredible so far this year. All right, so we got 1 wide receiver off the board. Where are you going to go at number 5, Florio?
The 101 from the start of the year. Give me Jamar Chase. Like you look at the last 3 games, 29, 25, 38. He has 25 or more in 4 of his last 6 games. Week 1 was a dud with Joe Burrow because the Bengals always come out slow. Then it was a little bit of an adjustment period after they lost Joe Burrow. But the last 3 weeks, it's been with Browning and with Flacco. It does not matter. If you give Jamar Chase opportunity, he is going to come through because I think he is the best wide receiver talent walking the planet personally.
Wow.
I mean,
that's a shot, bro.
It's a hard thing to argue against.
It's him or Jefferson.
I say you can put Justin Jefferson in the conversation.
Puka's not in that conversation.
You could put Puka. You could put healthy CeeDee Lamb.
I think Puka's very good, and for fantasy, I could see him being the wide receiver 1. But for real life talent, I think Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase you could put in any scheme.
I see what you're doing, Florio. You're stirring.
No, I'm not. It's not. I'm not even trying to get at you. Like I just think those 2 and CeeDee Lamb.
Not
are
everything about the Rams is a personal
talents.
shot at you. Like what?
Listen, we're not going to get into this. This is going to be a
like
whole
you think if you put
segment.
Puka with Joe Flacco, he's putting up 150 and 2.
I mean, listen, hold up, pause. What is it that Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson they're doing that Puka hasn't already done?
I mean, Jamar Chase won a Triple Crown. When did Puka do that?
I think both those guys are probably better.
Puka's about to do it this
Puka.
year if he stays healthy.
That's also a huge thing that he struggles with.
If he stays healthy.
But
to me, I think those guys are better field stretchers than Puka Nacua.
They're better field stretchers, and they have better touchdown upside. Puka, for all the catches and targets he gets, he's never been a big touchdown guy early in his career.
It's one of those things that I get that's a knock to him, but in terms of overall talent, yards after the catch, the big playability, the diving catches, the circus catches, the one-handed, it doesn't matter of anything that you paint that they do that he hasn't already done.
You've watched Jamar Chase play before, right? He does all of those things as well.
It's fine. This has derailed the whole thing. I'm at number 6. And while you guys were having this conversation, I was really thinking about who to take at number 6. And I'm going back and forth. But I'm going to take Devon Achane here.
Interesting.
Because, and I went back, don't ask me why, but I rewatched that Browns Dolphins game from yesterday because I just wanted to see how bad the Dolphins are.
Pretty bad.
Devon Achane is the only thing they have in that offense right now. That is it. Every time he gets his hands on the ball, he just looks like he's moving at a different speed, at least compared to the rest of his teammates. He's a big play waiting to happen every time. He's always been a big part of the passing game, and I think that's only gotten better or improved, I guess, or he's gotten more targets, however you want to say it, since the injury to Tyreek Hill. So yeah, I was torn between him and a wide receiver who I think is going to make it into this first round. So I'm not going to say the name, but I go Devon Achane at 6. So LaQuan, back to you.
Give me Jackson Smith and the Jigba.
That was the other name that I was looking at.
I'm glad you let him fall to me because I was just like, yeah, that's the guy that I wish I was a little bit more aggressive on in drafts this summer because The season that he's having is one of those seasons where, like, oh, we could start putting him in that conversation that he belongs in the first round, especially with Sam Darnold throwing the ball to him. So I think that downfield stretch ability that they're figuring out together, that chemistry, it's going to be something special. So JSN, yeah, he's a lock for a first round pick.
All right. Yeah, I was literally, I'm like, do I go HN? Do I go JSN? I went HN. So no surprise that Smith and Jigba goes right after him. All right. Number 8 pick to you, Florio.
Jahmyr Gibbs. We're sleeping on him a little bit, I think. I know, like, it fantasy wise, we haven't had the huge blow up game yet, but he's getting more work than he ever has. So I just think it's only a matter of time before we see him just go nuclear. Like, we've really only seen him do once this year. So yeah, I'm going to take the tried and true talent and the explosive Jahmyr Gibbs.
All right. Well, I'm at 9. And let's double up on Lions, huh? Let's go Amon-Ra St. Brown at this point, because not only is he a target monster, but he seems to be finding his way into the end zone at a pretty steady clip so far this season. 6 touchdowns heading into the Monday night game. So, I mean, certainly a chance to add to that in week 7. But, you know, for all the excitement, look, I still am a big Jameson Williams guy, and Isaac Tesla has kind of popped onto the scene, but everything still runs through Arsb when it comes to the passing game there in Detroit. So I'm going to take him at number 9. So, all right. I got 3 picks left here in our mock redraft. Who you got at 10, LaQuan?
Emeka Egbuka. I think I can put the egg on my face. I was a little wrong about that. I do think I should have been a little bit more aggressive about him because he's blossomed onto the scene as like a solid wide receiver 1. I think the future is bright for him. So all the dynasty folks out there, I know they're beating their drums and saying that they got a gem in their roster. So yeah, Emeka Egbuka has to come on.
All right. So Egbuka makes it in. So we got, he was the first rookie to come off the board in the draft this year. So there it is. All right, Florio, who's got it at 11?
The last remaining elite receiver, in my opinion, give me CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, and he's played 3 games this year. He's gone over 100. He's 110 yards or more in each of those games, 18 or more fantasy points in each of those games. Like, I think next year he's a top 5 pick once again. And it's just, it stinks that he lost a month this year because of injury, but yeah, he is as elite gets. And he's in a perfect situation for fantasy. Him and Dak are kind of this year's Chase and Joe Burrow from last year.
Yeah, I can see that for sure, especially because the Cowboys, that defense means they have to throw a lot. So plenty of targets coming his way. All right, so rounding out our first round in our mock draft, and I could do the thing that is, you know, sane and rational, and everybody look at it and go, or I could take Cam Scatterboo.
What? Chopped cheese with the bev? Scatterboo?
I'm doing it. I'm taking Cam Scatterboo here, and I was looking at him or Josh Jacobs. But I think with what we've seen from Scatterboo, the fact that, and we'll get to Jackson Dart and the Giants in just a little bit, but that Scatterboo has sort of done it in every situation, that he really has taken command of that backfield, that he is a part of the passing game, and just sort of the energy and excitement that he and Jackson Dart have brought to this offense, I think make it really, really interesting the rest of the way. It was good to see Tyrone Tracy come in there. He had a touchdown run in that game yesterday, but it's apparent that this is Cam Scatterboo's backfield right now. And again, I think if Malik Neighbors is healthy and still there, I don't think Scatterboo gets this sort of love, right? But I think with these circumstances being what they are, with the Giants not really being able to push the ball downfield consistently, I think Cam Scatterboo is going to continue to eat, him and Jackson Dart, aura, just nothing but aura with those guys. So are we going Scatterjacks? Is that how we're doing this? Or
Scatterjacks
or Dartaboo?
Scatterboo.
Either way. I'm gonna go off menu here, and I'm taking Cam Scatterboo to round out the first round.
Dartaboo, toss it in the trash, shred it, burn it. No Dartaboo. No.
So Scatterjacks.
Scatterjacks. I like that.
All right. So there it is. All right. I'm sure if this thing makes it onto the interwebs, people are going to call me a dummy for taking Scatterboo there. But hey, man, y'all clicked on
Justin
it.
Jefferson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because, I
Justin
mean, what's this quarterback situation going to look like next year?
That's, and that's a whole other conversation too. I think for another show is what the quarterback situation there, because Carson Wentz is not good, but it also doesn't seem like they're in a hurry to get
Sam
back
Darnold.
They also don't seem like they're in a hurry to get back to JJ McCarthy either.
That's who it's going to be next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be him next year for sure, but it obviously has impacted Jefferson's production too so far this season.
Yeah, we haven't seen the ceiling yet, but he does have over 11 fantasy points in every game this year.
Also, hasn't had a touchdown since week 1. So
yeah, I mean, he's had like numerous 120-yard games in that span.
Right. But yeah,
but he'll get a stretch where he has like 5 touchdowns in 3 games.
Of course, because that's just how it works. So there it is. We'll put this out on the internet, and you can yell at us. I'm just gonna
yell at you.
I'm just gonna mute everything. It's fine. It'll be all right. Let's talk a little bit of quarterbacks before we hit the break here, because there were some interesting quarterback performances, some that kind of came out of nowhere, some that I think are going to make us reevaluate how we feel about things. Let's go back to the Icy Hot Bowl on Thursday night, which is an excellent name. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco both went out and had really good fantasy games. Joe Flacco, I owe you an apology. I guess I was familiar with your game, but I'd kind of forgotten about it and didn't think that it was still on that level. But both guys had 22 or more fantasy points this past week. I mean, Florio, which one of those two is more likely to sustain, you think?
I think Aaron Rodgers. Although Joe Flacco might just get there because the Bengals are going to give up a lot of points and he just keeps chucking it downfield to Higgins and Chase. But Flacco to me seems like one of the, we've seen Flacco do this before too, where he could get red hot for a stretch and then kind of goes back to being what he was. Aaron Rodgers has not been like the highest ceiling quarterback, but we've seen now a floor starting to develop in recent weeks. And they like to throw the ball when they get in the red zone too. So that is something that I think could help keep him afloat. And to answer the second question on the rundown, I'm 110% considering Aaron Rodgers as a streamer next week. Because if we know one thing about Aaron Rodgers, nothing fuels him like hate and pettiness. It is why his best fantasy game of the year came against the New York Jets. If you think he disliked the Jets, imagine the feelings that he has when he faces the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. And the Packers, as good as they've been up front, their secondary has been vulnerable as of late. So yeah, I think Rodgers is very much so in play as a streaming option with 6 teams on bye next week.
I was joking that on Fantasy Live, we have sort of leaned into these AI animations like we use to come back to from break and stuff like that, these music videos. There was one with, Aaron Rodgers. It was weird. He was like in the jungle and Mike Tomlin was waiting for the whole thing was bizarre. But
what? I want to know how that ended.
I can't even begin to tell you. It was like this sort of Indiana Jones thing, but it was with Aaron Rodgers. I can't even begin to explain it. But what I do want, if we're going to do this, if we are going to, drain the oceans for this sort of thing.
Let's not.
Let's not. But, that ship has already sailed and we don't get to make those decisions. I want them to make one that is a soft drink commercial where Aaron Rodgers is sipping out of a green can that just says Spite. Not Sprite. Spite.
Spite.
That is this week, man.
Because that is this week. Just the biggest petty party you've ever seen for Aaron Rodgers going against the Green Bay Packers. And with 6 teams on a bye, you can bet there'll be a lot of people banking on Rodgers this week to just go out there and be petty against his old club.
Be yourself. Help my fantasy rosters.
That's all it is. LaQuan with Jackson Dart. We've all been big on Jackson Dart. We're all trying to become a part of the Dart side. But this week, I think we all looked at it and said, yeah, it's the Broncos. Yes. I don't know that I can do that. He throws for 283 and 3 touchdowns, runs for 11 yards, has a touchdown on the ground, 28 fantasy points for him. Is he a must start now?
Yeah, he's in his era. He's in his bag right now. And I think the Broncos matchup was more so scary is because they're able to stop the run. They're able to make big plays through the air. Like, this was a defense that everybody had marked off like, yeah, we're not starting Wan'Dale Robinson. He ended up having like a nice flex floor. We are not starting Jackson Dart because they're not allowing none of these quarterbacks to get light on their feet. 46 rushing yards they allowed to the mobile quarterbacks in Herbert, Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts prior to this game. So everything lined up was like, ugh, but no, Jackson Dart actually went out there and had one of his best passing games, making some of the biggest plays. The Daniel Bellinger, like, he literally navigated that in the pocket under pressure, kept his eyes downfield and hit him for the big play. This is stuff that you really don't see from like these rookie quarterbacks that are kind of like scattered all over around, but he's unpredictable. Like, he's able to get the rushing yards. He's able to make the throws that you really wouldn't expect a rookie to throw across his body. And like, he's doing all these great things to where like, you just have to lock him in now. It's like, hey, he's going to be a QB1 next season when they add more additions, when they get Malik Neighbors back, because what he's doing now and what he has to work with, it's insane the numbers that he's putting up right now. So you have to start him.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I think it's going to cause a headache for a lot of fantasy managers because you probably already had a quarterback and maybe you went and picked up Dart. I don't know. I mean, people have a lot of questions, I would think, right?
Two weeks ago, on Fantasy Live, I said he's a top 10 quarterback, and I named the 9 that I would rather have. That list has shrunk, but I'll tell you the names it would still be, and you could tell me if you disagree with any. I'm still taking Allen. I'm still taking Mahomes, and I'm taking Lamar over him. Jayden is hurt, so that one kind of gets put aside. I'm still taking Hurts, Baker, Dak, and May, and I think that's it. That's what, 7 quarterbacks now that I would start over Jackson Dart moving forward?
Daniel Jones?
I'd rather have Dart.
Okay. Matthew Stafford?
Look, here we go. Obviously, yeah, man. Mobility.
This is not a shot at you, man. I'm
saying
Dart.
I'm saying Dart too, man.
Okay.
Dang.
All right.
Over Brock Purdy.
Yes, over Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is hurt. He's barely played this year. I would absolutely take Jackson Dart over Brock Purdy. I'm not gonna get all butthurt about it. Like, it's fine.
Because you got Mac.
I also got Mac Jones, who was good enough. Mac Jones, by the way, is like Mac Jones is like a disposable razor. Like you use him once. The first time you use him, he's really sharp. The more you use him, the sharp. Like, at some point, you're like, yeah, we probably got to change this out a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was good enough. It was good enough on Sunday night. So
good analogy.
Good enough. Speaking of quarterbacks in the NFC West, Florio, is it time to talk about Jacoby Brissett as the starting quarterback down there in Arizona right now?
Yo.
I said last week on the show, I tweeted this out as well. Like, I will die on the hill that Jacoby Brissett should be a starter in this league. And I've said this for a while now. Like, anytime he gets put, I know last year wasn't the best with the Patriots, but that was a that was the worst situation in football last year. And that's why I got so excited for Drake May when he came in there and he looked like he did. But yeah, Brissett, 3 touchdowns in 7 quarters for Trey McBride. He had 2 all of last season with Kyler Murray. Like, I know Murray can run. I know they paid him. I know after the bye this week, we're probably going to get Kyler Murray starting again. And even if the Cardinals move on after this year, someone will give Murray a chance to start. But the passing attack looks its best with Jacoby Brissett this year.
Preach, brother.
I mean, he's getting the ball out quickly. He's spreading it around to guys. I mean, he's using Marvin Harrison down the sidelines. He's getting Trey McBride involved. I mean, even for those of us sickos who had to go deep there, I mean, Michael Wilson getting targets. Zay Jones had a big catch. I mean, he's just getting the ball out on time and on target.
Hey, Dortch. Come on,
Great
don't leave my guy out.
Dorchland is
We're back open.
They're making popcorn again. It's great.
Electricity's back on. Paying the bills.
The Ferris wheel's, like, it's running slow, but it's running, 2 starts for Jacoby Brissett this year. 599 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception.
That's amazing, man.
It's great. It's just, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you should be starting Jacoby Brissett, but man, if you have some other pieces in that offense, you just feel better.
I might have cost myself in a week because in a super flex, I had Geno Smith as my QB3 with Josh Allen on bye. And I was like, do I drop Geno for Jacoby? I was like, it's a 1 week thing. I'll just ride it. They'll probably be pretty close. And then Geno Smith is just Even in Superflex, I don't think he's usable.
Trust as I have him in a Superflex Dynasty League, and it's not going well. Not at all. So we will see. I know to this point, Jonathan Gannon has not said anything one way or another about the starting quarterback situation down there in Arizona, but certainly, you read the reports, you sort of listen to the fan chatter, and there's some real conversations about who should be the QB1 for the Cardinals for the rest of the season.
Saving his job, I tell you that.
Hey man, do what you got to do to stay employed, man. That's
Did you see the other day he said he didn't like the play call that he made on the biggest play of the game, and it's like, dude, you're the one who controls that.
We're all trying to find the guy who did this, so that's what that is.
It's like that SpongeBob episode, The Problem Looking for the Problem in the picture.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
like, dude, that play call was awful. But like, whoa.
I should go talk to the person who did that. Yeah, that's enough to induce rage if you were a Cardinals fan. Obviously, it's the point of the season. Everybody's making waiver wire moves pretty much all season long. But at some point, you've just had enough of a guy. It's just not working out, and you are just done. Future production be damned. I just can't do it anymore. So, LaQuan, who are you rage dropping this week?
DJ Moore. And it sucks that we have 11 startable wide receivers on bye this week, and I may be stuck with him in one league, but I'm really done with him because honestly, his best game this season came against one of the worst defenses in NFL, which is the Dallas Cowboys, but that was only 12 points. Like, that's your high, that's your ceiling. Like, when you even look at where he's at in importance on this offense, 17% is his targets per route run. That's a reflection of his actual impact and involvement on this offense. That's 67th among wide receivers, qualified wide receivers of 94. He is dead down there with the Alec Ayumanners. He's down there with the Jerry Judys. He's less relevant, involved in his offense as a Hunter Henry. Listen to that. Hunter Henry. And it's like, how? That's a tight end. Hunter Renfrow has a higher targets per route run. Listen to that. Like, this is really, really bad to be sitting here rostering DJ Moore because you draft him as your wide receiver 3. You draft him as your wide receiver 2. We know that he has the talent as a wide receiver 1, but that is no longer true in the Ben Johnson's picture. So I just think right now, like, I'm ready to let him go. Like, I'm okay with just cutting ties.
I really thought or maybe hoped that after the bye, you would see him get more involved, right? Like, I thought Ben Johnson would look at that and be like, hey, we got to get DJ Moore the ball. Yes, Rome Odunze is doing great. That's wonderful. We got to get our other guy going too. That hasn't really happened. And in fact, I think the worst part is that the last couple of weeks, it's been neither Moore nor Odunze getting going, because Rome Odunze, after that hot start to the season, has sort of cooled off the last couple of weeks, back-to-back games with just barely over 5 points for Odunze. So it's not like you could be like, hey, DJ Moore is struggling, but man, Rome Odunze is eating. Last 2 weeks, it's been neither. It's kind of been the DeAndre Swift show in Chicago.
To your point, like yesterday, the first drive, it was like 2 of the first 3 passes went to DJ Moore. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is that game. And then he finishes with 5 that I'm pretty sure it's in his contract that he cannot finish with more than 5 targets.
It's just
Ben Johnson's like, you ate too much. All right, back in the line.
New NFL bylaws. 5 targets is max.
His game log is 5, then 6, then 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Like, it sounds like a made up TV phone number.
Yeah. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
I also love that he had 6 one day, and I'm sure, did they pull Caleb aside and like, hey man, you gotta pay attention. Like,
oh, Ben Johnson was livid. He was like, 6.
We can't pay these. That means we gotta pay DJ Moore overtime. Like, we can't do that, y'all. We gotta make sure we keep it at 5, cap it at 5.
The worst part is they're winning because, like, I know some fantasy managers are out there like, maybe he gets traded, but why are they gonna trade him if they're in contention?
They are very much still hanging around in this playoff race. They're 4-2 right now, and very much in the thick of things. And on top of it, by the way, Caleb Williams is on pace for 4,000 yards this season. So, and
DeAndre Swift is good. I know the first couple of weeks I had people in my mentions being like, he's awful, he's all floor. Nope, it just took a couple weeks.
It took a few weeks. That was the thing it seemed like they figured out in the bye week was how to get DeAndre Swift.
Kyle Monangai. Also,
he had a big game too.
Peek behind the curtain. He's on the sleepers list this week. And I guess I should correct myself. Right now, Caleb just short of the pace for 4,000 yards, but not by much.
Oh, he was on it before. before yesterday.
Yeah, I think he's just short. But again, like it's a thing where it doesn't have to be a huge game, but one halfway decent game gets him back on pace. So
they get the Ravens next week. That'll more than cover it.
Still in the cards for Caleb to get there. Florio, who are you rage dropping?
Michael Carter, and I more want to talk about how annoying the Cardinals have been all year long. Like the first 2 weeks, even with a healthy James Conner, they were using Trey Benson enough where it was like, okay, that really dings James Conner and makes him more like a low-end RB2. Then he gets hurt, and we get Trey Benson for like a week, and it was like, okay, this seems like it's going to be fun. He goes down. Michael Carter we think it's going to be DeMercado. We know what happens with that. Carter played really well that game. Then they're like, out of nowhere, we got an alert. I think it was Schefter on like Sunday morning before whatever week that was like, hey, they might use Bam Knight as the starter. And then it was like 50-50. And then this week was more Knight. It's just made it where I don't think you could I know they're on bye this week too, which makes it easier. But like I would be dropping Bam Knight in places unless it's a real deep league as well, because Trey Benson actually posted this morning just saying soon. And I believe week 10 is when he's eligible for a return. So I don't want to next week with 6 teams on bye waste a spot for a running back that I might feel comfortable I could play for 1 week, 2 weeks down the road. Like I'm just so over this Cardinals backfield this year. It's kind of been like a dog chasing its tail, and more often than not, it leads to disappointment.
I know, LaQuan, you've sort of been on Drew Petzing's head all year long. It's nothing new. And I believe it was Patrick Claybon a few weeks ago who posted, was talking about the Cardinals offense and posted the meme of the guy, hands on his hips, looking at the server, like obviously with no clue what's happening, and basically saying that is kind of Drew Petzing at the helm of the Cardinals
on his
offense.
resume.
That he's just, it's like, he suddenly became important at work and now he doesn't know what to do about it, sort of thing.
I retweeted it with you remember the fake doctor, the kid that used to be a doctor and has that picture? Yeah, I retweeted with that same thing.
Yeah, so that part. Mine, and first off, I was sort of surprised that nobody put Travion Henderson in this list.
Almost did, but I still think...
I almost did it. Almost did.
I thought one of you was going to do that.
You can't start him, but I unless you're in a shallow league, I think there's value in holding him.
You know what? I updated the middle meter too. So that was an option.
Oh.
And we have a new player to the scene.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
The middle meter has been updated.
So it's a 2-person meter now.
It's a 2-person race now because we're getting mid. 0.5 is what we got from fantasy points this Sunday in a matchup that was his. Sorry if I'm blowing up the rundown right now, but I was triggered.
Please.
I was triggered that nobody put this guy. He needs to be on the wire. Because when people ask me, hey, should I start such and such? Heck no, because we have never seen anything relevant for him to be in starting lineups. So, yeah, he's down at the bottom along with T-Lo, but he'll be updated on Wednesday.
I mean, it was such a choice matchup for the Patriots running backs. And Ramondre Stevenson did his thing.
That was my sleeper last week.
Vrabel hates Henderson. Like, you can't start him. There's no way. But I'm viewing him now as a handcuff, right? Like, he's one injury away from, we think, being a starter unless they sign someone off the street. So, like, if you're in, like, a 10-team league or an 8-team league, yeah, he's definitely droppable. But, like, I have him in a lot of, like, deeper 12-team leagues, and I see myself, like, I'm not going to start him, but I don't think I'm going to drop him.
Well, my rage drop guy is a guy who did even less than Travion Henderson this past week, and that's RJ Harvey. Henderson had 2 carries for 5 yards. RJ Harvey, 4 carries, 0 yards, 2 targets, 1 catch, 2 yards. I mean, I guess he ended up having more fantasy points because he had the catch in there, but he had fewer total yards than Travion Henderson last week. Just cannot get on the field. Cannot get on the field at all. And like, I get it. Look, shout out to J.K. Dobbins, who's having another very good year, who's been very effective running the ball for the Broncos. RJ Harvey has fewer carries than Bo Nix. He has fewer rushing yards than Bo Nix. He cannot. And like, I'm the guy who came into the season saying, don't trust Sean Payton, that, like, he's going to trick you. He's going to make you look foolish. even still, they just will not. Yeah, I mean, LQ, I know you were big on it. We tried to warn you. We did our best. I get it. Like,
it's okay.
But even now, I'm just like, why suit him up? Like, what is happening here that he can't get on the field like at all? Can't get the ball at all. I'm not doing it anymore. I can't. I'll take my chances. Look, I'll go get Kyle Monangai. I'd rather take Kyle Monangai at this point than try to deal with RJ Harvey. It's over.
Maybe I'm a sucker for punishment. I kind of view Harvey the same way I view Henderson. Like, there's no way you could start him, but like in deeper leagues, I want him on my bench. You can't have both, but like in my home league, where it's a deep 12-team league, the waiver wire is usually thin. Every week, I'm like, do I drop Harvey? And I'm like, but if something happens to J.K. Dobbins, he has more upside than anyone on the waiver.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I guess I should give him credit. He did have a touchdown yesterday, so that 1-2 yard catch did end in the end zone. So that made it look, I guess, better. But one catch for 2 yards. One catch for 2 yards is the extent of your output. Like
Henderson's going home with clean jerseys, bro. Like I still will hold on to Harvey because, like Florio said, he will have the highest ceiling if J.K. Dobbins goes down, who doesn't really have that healthy of a track record. So it's like,
I guess.
I honestly will hold on. At least with Hendo, I should start saying, at least if Stevenson goes down, I think there's still wiggle room that he could be fantasy relevant, but the Patriots' rushing offense isn't great to begin with. So it's like, what does that actual ceiling look like for Hendo?
I'm looking at who's behind him. I mean, Terrell Jennings. I mean, maybe they bring somebody up off the practice squad or something.
Apparently, Vrabel was saying they think they found their 5-minute back with Jennings yesterday. So there's a rumor going around Twitter that Mike Vrabel did not want to draft Henderson. And at first I was like, that just seems like internet whatever. But now I'm like, everything he does points that he does not want this guy on his team.
Yeah.
Wow. So much for at least Omari and Hampton, when he was healthy, was doing things. Like he was getting opportunities and doing things. So there you go. I'll say this, for all the hype of the rookie running back class, it's been kind of underwhelming so far.
It ain't deep. It was deep before. It ain't deep now.
But Henderson, Harvey, no shows. Ashton Genty doing what he can in a bad offense. Hampton hurt right now. So it's been rough. Before we get out of here, Florio, you put together a list of waiver wire options. You want to run through those, please?
Yeah, I have to include Jackson Dart because he's still below 50%. Why? Every week we come on here and we're like, add Jackson Dart. But after that, a lot of streamers for the week because 6 teams on bye. We spoke about Aaron Rodgers. Michael Penix Jr. gets a good matchup next week as well against, I forget who he gets, but it's a good matchup. And then Taylor gets the Bengals, and then Marcus Mariota just because he could run. I don't want to play him against the Chiefs necessarily, but
Penix has the Dolphins, by the way, next week.
Who do they get?
Penix has the Dolphins.
There we go. That's who it is, and they can't stop. LaQuan could go out there and run all over them.
LaQuan can run he can run a 4.57, 4.56.
I had to bring it full circle, Yeah. Running backs, I still put Woody Marks because I think tonight might just be a Woody Marks game with them coming off the bye. Kyle Monangai, Bam Knight, they're on bye next week, but he is the lead back there. Tajay Spears. We saw a lot more Brashad Smith this week. Granted, it wasn't a blowout. And then Bashaw Tootin, just because ETN has been trending down for a few weeks now. At wide receiver, I still think the Packers guys are the top options in Dobbs and Golden. Alec Pierce had a lot of targets this week. Kayshon Boutte is as boomer bust as they call me at 2 targets, but hey, he's hitting on those with the best deep ball thrower in the NFL right now. Xavier Legette, friend of the show, had a huge volume game this week. Malik Washington heavily involved, and Darren Waller is week to week now. And then Christian Watson, just in deeper leagues, he's nearing a return. I added him in a couple of spots this past week. And then tight ends, shout out to you, LQ. Arande Gatson, the second, went off this week. Kyle Pitts, had him as a start. He played well, and he has another great matchup last week. Colson Loveland, because Cole Kmet got injured. Theo Johnson and Mason Taylor. I like Johnson more long-term, I think, but for if you only need a tight end to play this week, I like the matchup better for Taylor.
Theo Johnson's touchdown was preposterous.
Yes, it was.
When he caught that, at that point, I was like, well, Thanks for coming, Denver. Like, I thought it was a wrap for the Broncos. I'm like, you're gonna be like, if you have a touchdown like that, it's just not your day. Lo and behold, it turned out to be their day. But that was preposterous.
Those teams were having a not your day off when you think about it. Like,
it really was just
the way they both allowed all those points is crazy.
Deflected touchdowns, things of that nature. It was just wild. So anyway, yeah, go check it out if you need some help off the waiver wire. Reminder, 6 teams are on a bye this week. Of course, we'll dive into it later on in the week. We come back for our other shows as well. But there you go. That'll do it for this edition of the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. Stay happy, safe, and healthy. Do good and live well. Enjoy the Monday Night Doubleheader. Last one, probably of all time. And we will talk to you again on Wednesday.